So we're going to be incredibly vulnerable, as we've said that we would be on this vlog. Hey everybody, welcome to our channel. We are going to do something different today. This is my friend Mason Wheeler from Meet the Wheelers. You guys can go ahead and check down in the information below. So he and his wife Sarah have been going through the infertility journey as well as Alex and I. So what we're going to do is just kind of share our perspectives on what it's been like, the embarrassing things of male factor infertility, the ridiculous things of male factor infertility, and then we're just going to kind of give you guys a baseline of who we are and what we're about.
Yeah, the good, the bad, the ugly.
The good,
mostly
the bad. Mostly ugly.
Mostly ugly.
But that's all right. So here we go. My name is Philip, and I have been infertile since I was 0.
Hi, I'm Mason, and I'm infertile. I too have been infertile, presumably since birth.
Yes.
Who knows? This just in.
We're going to tell you what our sperm results were.
Bum bum bum.
Bum bum bum. We have really low sperm. I got tested over the last 3.5 years. How about you?
Yeah, like last year.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple times.
So we're going to be incredibly vulnerable, as we've said that we would be on this vlog. And I am now going to give you the results of my semen analysis. So the normal range for the semen samples is above 40 million per sample. Mine was an average of 30 and give or take 20 million above and below that. What about you? Tell me about your sperm.
My sperm, we're looking pretty good in that category.
Tell me.
We got the W. 94.5.
Heck yeah.
million. So, plenty.
Now on the topic of motility. So, a normal motility would be above 50%.
Yes.
Let me tell you the sad state of affairs for my little guys. I have an average of about 10. So, I'm significantly lower than that normal of 50% and above as far as motility is concerned.
Yeah, and I'm about 26%. So that's not great either.
Right.
But yeah.
But I got the L and you got the W there.
I think I got the W again.
Well done. Now, as far as morphology. Now, morphology is essentially like the shape. Like, is it shaped well?
Like this.
Is it like this? What were you say about hammerhead? That was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. So mine are like that probably.
Okay.
That's how I imagine them.
Okay.
Just like...
Just little sharks?
They just like hit and just don't... They
don't go anywhere.
off.
They don't have like that cone at the top?
No, they don't have
They're
like,
missing
the battering
cone?
ram part.
Okay. The part. Okay. Well, so an average morphology for my little guys, so he's got the hammerheads, and then I just have regular sharks. But my average was about 10% morphology, which basically means 10% of my really low number was actually shaped the proper way.
Mm-hmm. And the average is 5, right?
The average is 5%.
That's like the...
I had 10. Yeah. So I got a W. That's my W. I got a W.
W, there you go. And I got the L with 0% morphology.
Where were we when we found out? Where were you?
I was in a infertility clinic with my wife.
How was that? Do you like infertility clinics?
In general, no. We had our clinic that we've been going to in the past was awesome. It was a little bit more inviting. It was not so medical.
Versus really bright white sterile and very scary.
They at least had like pink walls, so it seemed less
pink.
Sterile and medical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tell me about the thought of like how weird it is as a guy to think that like a baby is not made in the bedroom.
Like the traditional loving mommy and daddy kind of way.
The physical act of love.
I mean, so that's a good point. It's so frustrating that what some people, we were talking about this earlier, just get to accidentally do in passion and love and in our, in our opinion, in a God-given institution.
Right.
Some people just accidentally stumble into it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful part of our marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go into an infertility clinic and you have it's all surgical and medical and it's not fun.
Right.
You don't get to make a baby the fun way.
Right. Yeah, I think my first experience was like, what the heck am I doing here? Like, am I that guy? Like, I kind of always thought of myself as like this like macho guy. Like, I've got a big chest, like I got a big build, and I'm not like this like overly macho like steroid using muscular man. So like, there's obviously insecurities that I don't look like the guy from Abercrombie and Fitch, even though I always used to tell my wife that I was that guy, and they just stole my photos. But I wanted to just be a man. Insecurities of my life built up when I realized I was this infertile person. Like that like Alex and I trying to have kids and not succeeding was on me.
Yeah.
And so that hit my ego and that hit my pride in an enormous way.
Yeah, it's like your body is rejecting you, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like your body betrayed you. You know?
Yeah.
The world has let you down in like the worst possible, most biological way.
Exactly.
I mean, I didn't quite take the hit. I feel like I felt so deeply sad for Sarah because for her, it was a driving force to do IVF was to carry a child.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm just like, I wasn't thinking as much about what was wrong with me and how that was affecting me. Maybe it was, and I just wasn't focusing on it.
Yeah.
But my thoughts were just like, I feel so bad that Sarah is dealing with this.
Totally.
Yeah.
What a selfless emotion you had.
Yeah, I was.
And the opposite
selfless.
of me.
I know. I'm trying to find a way to not sound
There's
like a
something
jerk
there.
saying that.
No, I got you.
The thing that I really got, I was just like, really?
Yeah.
This doesn't happen. This happens to other people.
Yeah, exactly. I said that all the time.
And it's not like we're never going to get to IVF.
Yeah,
like,
how many times did you and Sarah say, we're that couple? Alex and I used to say it like daily.
I don't know.
That couple?
I feel like we just rolled so fast into IVF, I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you guys kind of jumped right into IVF, whereas we jumped into every single thing possible that I could do to raise my sperm counts.
Yeah.
So we've done acupuncture, we did diets, we did exercise, we did special foods, we did pills, we did supplements. Even to the point that when I would exercise, after I exercised, I had to take a below freezing constituted liquid material and place it into a predominantly sensitive area just to kind of cool my body down because my production was so low based off of my body heat. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I know we're laughing a little bit because like we kind of have to find a little bit of humor in this because otherwise it just sucks.
Yeah.
It's weird. There's not much you can do about it.
Yeah.
And all the natural stuff out there, it makes such an increment, like small change difference.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating. I mean, so Sarah and I, we didn't jump right into IVF. We did natural stuff before we got checked out.
Right.
So we were at a naturopath. We're having trouble. He got dietary change, all that stuff. Sure. And then once we found out it was me, on my end, for the most part, Sarah will argue that she has some, but for the most part, it's male factor. We're just like, well, what's our best chance?
Yeah.
So we didn't do IUI because that wouldn't have worked because the morphology, or at least not as high of a chance because it was so low.
Yeah. We did IUIs because we thought that's the cheaper route. That's probably going to work. For some of our viewers, like IUIs totally work.
Yeah.
You know, and even in MFI, IUIs can actually work as well. For us, we did 5 IUIs that didn't work. We have done the retrieval of IVF, but in the process, we had our daughter Callie through adoption. And so that's kind of paused that. And so later in our journey, we're going to pursue the IVF. So the crazy thing for Alex and I is that we've never actually gotten pregnant. And we tried a lot, but we never got pregnant. What about you?
Yeah, we tried naturally for 3 years. Thanks, honey. And used extreme measures of IVF, 5 embryo transfers.
Okay.
Over 4 times. So we did 1, 2, and then 1. And they all, the first one, which was our fresh transfer, we got pregnant. So we did get pregnant.
Okay.
But we miscarried at 9 weeks. Then we got the next one, which was another pregnancy, but it was chemical pregnancy technically, but we miscarried at 5 weeks.
Describe chemical pregnancy for those that don't know.
It's like an early miscarriage.
We're going to talk now on what to expect when you're not expecting.
What to expect when you're infertile.
Okay, so we briefly touched about this earlier, but explain the process of doing a semen analysis, how it made you feel, and then I guess just like what was your experience with that?
Yeah, so it's incredibly awkward, and you don't know, first of all, if you don't know somebody who's going through it or who has done it, and first of all, nobody wears like a pin that says like, I had a semen analysis. Yeah. So you don't like go up to somebody at church. I have low sperm. Yeah, you don't go up to somebody at church and be like, hey, I heard from so-and-so that you had a semen analysis. Can you tell me about how that experience was for you? No, people don't talk about it because it's awkward. It's
so weird.
And so you go into it. So first of all, you schedule an appointment and you got to go in and you're just like, all I know is what I've seen in movies, right? Or on TV when it's like that awkward situation. Yeah. And it's not far from how awkward it gets because that's what you expect. Yeah. So you get in there and you just have to provide a sample. Yeah. And you're just, I mean, for a lot of reasons that's uncomfortable. I mean, there's like magazines and DVDs and stuff
which
like that.
We're not proponents of, we would not recommend, and we would tell the wives out there and the families out there, that stuff's like actually going to hinder you in the long run. Have her go into the room with you.
You can also provide samples at home, I believe.
Yeah, you can.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and like going in is the only way to do it. And like that's the reality.
You guys need to know the reality of what you're dealing with when you're talking about male factor infertility. It's not romantic. It's weird. It's awkward. It's debilitating. And there was multiple times that I teared up in that process, in that room, thinking, how is this your plan? Like, how is this part of the process? But what I learned through it was the process that I was on that was part of God's plan.
And I hope that if there's any benefit from our awkwardness in this situation is that we can help just like one person like be prepared or be able to feel comfort in knowing that you're not alone.
Yeah,
you're not
absolutely.
You're not the only one who's had to deal with this, and it is a way to get the family that God has promised.
Yeah, absolutely. Once I got past the point that I was infertile, once that I got past the point that a child could potentially be made in a laboratory, once that I finally got past the process that a tube that carried my stuff would get inserted and it wouldn't be pleasurable, was past that. Once I got past the thought that like, what if I have children that are mine, completely, utterly mine, but are not biological through adoption, I became the person I feel like God wanted me to be from the beginning.
And we are firm believers that God has a right baby at the right time in the right way. And, we need to be obedient, and we're trying to do the best we can. Yeah. And, we went down our path and it wasn't the right time. Yeah. And as hard as that is to say, and to lose a son so early in our case, we just have to give it up and just say there's a right baby at the right time, and we have hope and we have faith. I love that. We really do. I know it has nothing to do about semen.
And I think one of the things Mason is talking about that I totally agree with is that there are some things in life that are in your control, that are in your hands. And then there's some of the things, and I would say in our situation, it's the most beautiful things that when you surrender and you say, it's not about me, it's not about my control, it's about me letting go and about me saying, okay, God, you have a better plan for my life than even I could dream of. That is where the freedom comes. That is where I feel like you become most alive, knowing that it's not all about you. If you're a guy watching this, struggling with male factor infertility, you're awesome. There's nothing wrong with you. You're the way God created you in the perfect way, because there is a plan beyond just this little hiccup in your life. If you're watching and you're a guy and you don't struggle with this, I encourage you to just like, when you're being dudes and you're being manly about stuff, if you just be a little bit more sensitive with your guys. If for whatever reason they and their wives are not having kids, just be sensitive about it, because I would say 99.9% of men with male factor infertility will never tell a soul that they have male factor infertility. If you're a woman that's going through it, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, I hurt for your pain because I've seen my wife go through it. I love what Mason said about how he just was in pain for Sarah. That is such a beautiful picture of marriage and sacrifice. If you're a woman and you're not dealing with this, I encourage you to be more sensitive to the women in your life. Understand that if you're a woman and you're asking people to go to your baby shower and your friends don't show up because they haven't had kids yet, maybe be sensitive enough to go, you know what, I'm going to let them have a hall pass on this one, because this might be too difficult for them to even approach, to even talk to me about. No matter where you are in your journey, I just encourage you, keep pushing. Don't give up. If your dream is to have a family, don't give up that dream. There's a purpose and there's a plan for your pain, and it will be revealed to you when it needs to be. but know that you're not alone.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for coming along on our journey today and just kind of embracing the awkwardness of the topic of male factor infertility and just male infertility in general. I hope this was an encouragement to you. If not, it was really weird for us. As always, we will see you guys in our next video, and go let your love multiply. Bye-bye.
Bye.